Hello everyone. I hope life is treating you kindly. I'm Lubomira and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to all my crafty friends, new and returning. I always look forward to this time of the week when we get together for some crafting fun. Now that you're here, please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. By hitting that little bell, you'll get notified every time I post something new and you won't miss out on any of the crafty goodness. Today I'm sharing a very girly card with a fashion theme to it. As I've collected my Dollar Tree stash, I've managed to find things that coordinate well together to create some fun themed cards, and this is one of the examples. For those of you who have those little fashionistas in your life, this may be a good fit. I'm excited to share this project with you, so let's get into the video. To start off, I used the Dollar Tree Fashion Postage stamp set and stamped a diagonal pattern across the front of a standard white panel using a variety of the stamps. I used black pigment ink and some post-it notes to mask. I started from the middle and moved outward, stamping the images I wanted to be in the front first, then masking them so I could stamp the images they'd be overlapping next. When you plan to create overlapping images, you have to plan out the stamping, working from the front and then moving backwards layer by layer. I didn't overcomplicate this process too much. Now, as far as the Dollar Tree stamps, these postage stamps aren't the best, but they aren't the worst either. I did find some faults in the stamps where certain stamps had little incomplete lines. They are usable though, and a little added pressure and hand drawing in some of the lines fixes any of those faults. If these stamps were an expensive set, I'd tell you to pass on it. But since they are Dollar Tree, it doesn't hurt the heart as much. Naturally, we want all our craft supplies to be perfect, but things like this do happen. I thought I'd let you know about the flaws and at the same time show you that they still managed to create some fun projects. I created the masks between stamping images onto my panel, placing a post-it roughly in the area where I wanted the image and stamping the image onto my post-it. I cut the mask out using scissors and placed it onto the image to mask. Naturally, I did get a smudge or two onto my panel as I worked. The smudges weren't that serious, and I was able to remove them using a sand eraser when I was done. To color the images, I used a 3-step process to create a tone-on-tone look with a pop of contrast. First, I completely filled in the stamps by ink blending over the images using dye inks from Concord and 9th in some pink shades. I, for the most part, combined 2 colors for each stamp, a lighter and a darker ink, using low-tack tape to mask the areas around the images to prevent overblending. The images were easy to mask, and the areas were small that it didn't take long to have all the stamps done. Since I was using a combination of dark and light inks, I didn't want to cross-contaminate my lighter pinks. I wiped my brushes with a cloth between inks. When I wanted the brush a little cleaner, I used an alcohol water solution to clean the brush. I sprayed the cloth with the solution and then rubbed the blending brush against the damp cloth until it was clean. Using this method keeps the brushes dry and allows me to use them immediately without waiting for them to dry. Next, I took some Copic markers and using similar pink tones, I quickly colored each of the items using a different color for each stamp. You could use any marker to do this, and it doesn't have to be an alcohol marker either. I wasn't trying to shade or do anything fancy with the items. I only tried to make the items slightly darker than their background so that they would stand out. Once all the images were colored, I took a white gel pen and went back to add some white details for a pop of contrast to the pink. The white also created a uniform look that made the images look like they came from the same collection. To clean up the images slightly, I went back with a black micron pen to add any missing lines and to bring out any of the details that may have been lost in the blending or the coloring process. I trimmed the stamp panel by about 1/4 of an inch round. I also trimmed a pink cardstock I had found in a Dollar Tree paper pack to a standard size, as well as a black piece of cardstock to slightly larger than the stamped image panel. Using the leftover pink paper as a banner, I lined it with a white piece of cardstock to add stability. I attached the white cardstock with a double-sided adhesive I had lying around on my desk from another project. When the two papers were attached, I trimmed the banner to a more usable size before moving to the next step. For the sentiment, I used Hello Beautiful from the Dollar Tree fashion-themed Rub-on. I applied it to the pink banner, removing the protective film and pressing the word onto the paper, tacky face down. I then rubbed a bone folder over the surface of the word, pressing it until it transferred onto the paper. Once it had transferred, I also added a cute little heart from that same Rub-on. After applying the rub-on, I trimmed the banner using my trimmer. Having all the necessary parts, I started to assemble the card next. I glued the pink panel down to a white card base using liquid glue, and then glued the stamped panel to the black cardstock to create a fine black border. Once I had the stamped panel framed, I attached it to the pink card base using foam tape. Looking at the card, I thought I could add a subtext to the greeting. The fashion rub-on has a bunch of fun and encouraging quotes. I liked the one that said, "Smiles are always in fashion," but it was too large for this project. I found another one that said, "Self-confidence is the best outfit, rock it and own it." I shortened it to say, self-confidence is the best outfit, to make it fit better on the front of the card, and it still has a nice message. Now, I wouldn't usually recommend adding a rub-on to an already mounted on foam card front, since you might not be able to add enough pressure. However, the combination of the black and white cardstock created a stiff enough surface that I was able to transfer the rub-on without difficulty. I repeated the process to place the text as I did the Hello Beautiful, this time using a T-square to help me align it straight before setting it. I attached the pink banner to the front of the card using foam squares. I used the T-square again to help me make sure that the banner was straight. Lastly, I added some enamel dots to the front of the card for some added interest. And that's it for this card. I really had fun making this card. While I love that the stamps and rub-on work so well together to create a coordinating theme, you can definitely switch the images with things that you have in your own stash to create other themes. And if you don't love pink, the colors can always be adjusted too. However, the coloring technique is very beginner friendly and does help in limiting the need for lots of different colors. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you dropping by for some crafting fun with me. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did sharing it with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, please leave me those comments below. I'm always super excited to see what you have to say. I hope you'll join me next time for another project. Until then, have an amazing week, and I hope life treats you kindly. See you soon. Bye.